exploring data volatility and order of acquisition, a digital memory forensics perspective.
Welcome to the Universal Principles podcast. Today we're diving into data volatility and order of acquisition. It sounds very technical, but it's a principle that applies far beyond computers. We'll uncover how prioritizing fragile data shapes outcomes in various fields. Are you ready to get started?
Absolutely, I'm thrilled to be here. What's fascinating about data volatility and order of acquisition, especially within digital memory forensics, is its crucial role in preserving evidence. If you think about it, digital evidence is often fleeting. It's here 1 second, gone the next if not handled correctly. The order in which we collect that data is paramount.
Digital memory forensics sounds like it could be straight out of a crime show. Could you give us a bit of context for how data volatility and order of acquisition impacts digital investigations?
Think of it this way. The higher concept is prioritizing data collection based on its inherent fragility to minimize loss or corruption in any dynamic system. In digital forensics, this means grabbing the most easily lost data first. It's like trying to catch smoke. You need to be quick and deliberate.
Okay, that makes sense. So what does that look like in practice? Can you walk us through a concrete example?
Sure, a classic example is dealing with RAM versus a hard drive. RAM, or random access memory, is incredibly volatile. It only holds data while the computer has power. So, if we suspect malware is running in memory, our first step is to dump the RAM, copy its contents, before we even touch the hard drive. Powering down the machine before extracting RAM would be catastrophic to data collection.
Wow, that's high stakes. What's another example where this principle shines?
Another critical area is network traffic. Imagine a hacker is actively communicating with a compromised system. Those network connections are far more volatile than the data sitting on the hard drive. So, we'd want to capture that network traffic immediately to trace the hacker's activity before they disconnect or cover their tracks. Think of it like photographing footprints in the sand before the tide comes in. One must act fast.
So it's all about thinking about what's most likely to disappear first. Are there any other fields that use this same principle?
Absolutely. Consider paleontology. The principle of taphonomic awareness, recognizing bias and alteration, is very similar. Paleontologists need to understand how fossilization processes can alter or destroy evidence over time. They prioritize collecting fragile or exposed remains first to minimize damage from the elements or scavengers. It's all about understanding data degradation.
Okay, so how can our listeners apply this data volatility and order of acquisition principle in their daily lives, even if they're not fighting cybercrime or digging up dinosaurs?
Great question. Here are 3 practical tips. First, always back up your most critical data regularly. Treat financial records and photos as a high priority. Second, when troubleshooting any problem, document the symptoms immediately. Memories fade quickly. Finally, in project management, identify critical path tasks with the highest risk of delay and address them first.
That's super useful. So to recap, data volatility and order of acquisition isn't just about computers, it's about understanding what's fragile and acting fast to preserve it. Thanks so much for sharing your expertise.
My pleasure, it's been a great discussion. Remember, think fast, act decisively, and preserve what matters most.
And that's all the time we have for today on Universal Principles. Tune in next week when we'll be exploring another fascinating principle that shapes our world. Until then, stay curious.